We're going to see some film that was deep in the vaults at Warner Brothers that probably hasn't been unearthed since 1938. These are some takes, without sound, of scenes from Robin Hood, including the slate at the beginning of the scene, which was for identification purposes. And in some instances, they will be outtakes. That is, a scene that was shot, but in the final analysis wasn't used in the final film. In some instances, it will be a scene shot from a different angle than what appears in the film. And in some instances, you'll see different directors' names on the slate, because in addition to William Keighley, the director up at Chico, and Michael Curtiz, who took over when the film came back to the studio, there are also some second unit directors on there. So you'll get to see slates with these various people who worked on the film, and different cameramen, different cinematographers, different operators, and so forth. So it's kind of fun, and I'll be describing what's going on and who's doing what to whom and where, so that it's some of it's out at the Warner Ranch in Calabasas, some of it's at the back lot, some of it's over at Busch Gardens in Pasadena, some of it's on the stage. So let's see what they have to offer. Now here we are out at the Warner Ranch at Calabasas, about 20 miles from the studio in Burbank. This is the entrance of Robin and Will Scarlett, the first entrance. This is after the company came back from Chico, and it was felt that they needed a bigger entrance for Errol and for Patrick Knowles. So they shot out at the Warner Ranch, and this was going to be used in conjunction with a shot that would follow this. After they leap over, there's a cut, and you see Errol and Patrick Knowles. These were probably doubles that were used in this shot. Now we're on the stage one at Warner Brothers. Frank Evans, the assistant cameraman. Now this is a scene from the escape from the castle that was not used in the final edit. That's a double for Errol Flynn, and as you can see, the action is speeded up. There's Howard Hill, of course, off camera shooting his arrows into the shield, and for some reason it was felt that this would not be great for the film, so it was edited out. Now we're still on stage one. Michael Curtiz is directing. Saul Polito is the first cameraman. Here's the clapperboard. This was used to sync the sound with the picture, because when this hit, you could hear it on the track and naturally see it in the picture, so you could line up your picture and your sound. Now this shot is with Errol Flynn, and again he's escaping from the castle near the beginning of the picture. But this particular setup, which was designed for this pan-over, was not used in the film. That's Sir Guy and the Norman Knights, and Robin, of course, is on the other side. And in the film, you see it from Robin's point of view, where they're getting behind the doors and so forth. But it's interesting to see one of the concepts that wasn't used in the film. Here we are at the ranch at Calabasas again. Now we're shooting the exterior of the castle. The castle exterior was fragmentary. It was not built full scale. It was used with matte paintings. This is Robin, Will Scarlett, and Much the Miller's Son escaping from the castle with the Normans in pursuit. It was shot day for night, meaning that it was daytime, but it was supposed to look like nighttime, so it would be underexposed and printed in that fashion. Now here, Byron Haskins was the head of the special effects department, so he directed this scene with the escape through the forest, because he was going to integrate it with rear projection shot on the special effects stage with the horses on treadmills and close-ups of Errol aiming his bow to the people who are following him. And here, William Dieterle is the director, who was a big heavy hitter at Warner Brothers, but they rounded him up to shoot a couple of days of material without the principals. He had done such big pictures as The Life of Emile Zola, The Story of Louis Pasteur, and they said, hey, he's free for a couple of days, press him into action. Of course, they were all contract people in those days, and you could do that. Here we are up at Chico, and this is William Keighley directing, and Tony Gaudio, the chief cinematographer. And of course, now they're shooting some material which followed the treasure train, and this is The Feast in the Forest, where Will Scarlett, played by Patrick Knowles, and one of the merry men are handing out these clothes to put on Sir Guy and the Sheriff of Nottingham and some of the other nobles. Now Now, here we are with yet another director, B. Reeves Eason, another cinematographer. This is over at the Busch Gardens in Pasadena, the archery tournament, and he's shooting scenes without the principals. And in this case, once again, we have speeded up action just a tad, so the material is faster than it would be if you were perceiving it right there at the location. Here we are in the back lot. That's Mike Curtiz. We've frozen him there because you very rarely see him. They're shooting the escape from the lynching, and there's the horse wrangler there, steadying everybody. There's Friar Tuck on the cart, and he's there to impede the men who are going to be chasing Robin, because Robin and his men, they want to get out of there and go to the Nottingham Gate and go back to Sherwood. So now the cart comes forward, and the people who are chasing him are going to bang into the cart. That would be on another cut where you see the actual Normans hitting the cart. This was also on the back lot at Warner Brothers. This is Buster Wiles doubling for Errol Flynn, and there's the Wrangler with the horse there. Now, the idea is that he would swing up and the gate would close, and the horse would go through, and he would be able to escape going over to the other side. Now they're getting ready for another take. Once again, the Wrangler's in there steadying the horse. Buster Wiles is still doing the cutting. And this would intercut with, of course, Errol hacking away. Now, this time it works better because the gate's closing, but we have a man popping up who shouldn't have popped up. And then he yet pops up again just to be sure we can catch his act. That, incidentally, was not seen in the final version. Here we are in stage one at Warner Brothers, the interior of the castle. And this time we're going to have doubles for Errol and for Basil because of the fall here. They were not doubled very much in this duel. It was pretty much Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone. But because of the action here, it was deemed necessary to put in some doubles. Now you're going to see, with Mike Curtiz directing and Saul Polito as the director of photography, part of the duel with Errol and with Basil, and of course, Errol is getting ready to do his jump over the table. Once again, we're shooting at a faster action. The picture ends, of course, when Robin and Marion go off and the gates close in the interior of the castle and the music goes up in the end. Actually, there was a scene that was to follow that, showing Robin and Marion on his horse riding off to their castle, and the long shot of them riding, and then a close two-shot of them, and he kissing her, and then back to the long shot of them, and then the end. Hal Wallace was ruthless in his cutting notes. They probably, when they looked at that, said, we don't need them riding off into the sunset. It's a great close, them standing there. Errol has the last line. May I obey all your commands with equal pleasure, sire? And that, they decided, hey, let's close the gates. That's a wrap. It's great. It's a good ending. Let's leave it at that.